Hello and welcome to this video of making a Petit-en-L'air from an old pair of curtains. I'm currently marking out the lining and in fact it may even be the pattern. No, it's the lining, and I'm cutting out the lining. This took way longer than it should have done because everything was smaller, so a lot of piecing had to be done. I don't know why it ended up that the curtain lining was so much smaller than the actual curtains, but oh well. This is from the Patterns of Fashion one. I can't remember what page it is off the top of my head. I'll probably put it somewhere. It's the Petit-en-L'air that's in there anyway. I'm still piecing, yes. Piecing is time consuming. I'm just checking to make sure that everything all still works and trimming off any excess. I did machine sew this piecing together, which was way faster than hand sewing it, and it was the lining, so I wasn't that bothered about hand stitching it down. So we're finally on to cutting the fashion fabric. This may look really cool. This fabric was a nightmare to work with. Cutting it out was not as fun as it looked because the chalk that I used to mark it just kept sort of brushing and dusting off as I was cutting, so just checking the lining is all working and everything matches up, pinning it all together, marking all the pleats out, and in a minute I will be pleating everything together to try this on and hope and pray that it fits. So I threw this on Doris, my dress form, to do up the side seams. They were wonky as hell. They needed some serious adjustments to make them fit nice. I have since adjusted the pattern to fit me. Doris is using my pre-pregnancy measurements, by the way. You can see how my bump distorts a fair few things, and my petticoats don't stay up the way they used to anymore. This was akin to wrestling a hedgehog. I had way too much fun doing this. I'm just pinning it to the front of my stays now, so I get a better idea of the fit. If it looks weird from the back at the moment, it's because it's caught up on the back of my stays. There we go. So yes, I was very happy with how the mock-up fit, which is surprising because I'm very short-waisted and yay, pockets! So now all I've got to do is sew it together, which is a bit of an endeavour in itself. Still going. Okay, so all the bits that needed sewing are down, and I'm having to mark out the robings and the pleats again because, like I said, they just didn't stay put on the other fabric. I'm pleating it all down again. I had to pull the pattern closer and closer to figure out where my pleats were supposed to go and how they were supposed to lay because I'd forgotten in all the time that I had spent sewing them up. And more sewing, this time wrapped in my Erisaid, which is very, very warm and snuggly. It's very cool. I'll do a video on it at some point. Just doing the robings and I'm going to sew down the pleats. Oh yeah, I forgot to film any of this. I'm really sorry. But here's the side seam sewn together and the pleats on the side of the skirt. I've also basted down the Watteau pleats at the back. Again, didn't film any of that. Yes, I am sat in my stays right now while I'm sewing ties in. I have a small hernia at the moment and my stays are the comfiest thing I can wear. So onto sleeveals. I'm sorry, I didn't record any of the process of making the sleeves or drafting the sleeves or doing anything useful with the sleeves other than pinning them on, which is still pretty crap because you can't really see what I'm doing because I'm standing in the way. However, they do look nice, and that's just pinned in. So now I'm stitching everything down because I was happy with the placement of it all. I'm sat in bed in my onesie sewing like a maniac. I love weekends. So this is prick stitching the top of the sleeve in place. I'm very much a fan of how 18th century sleeves are set. If you don't know how to, then check out American Duchess. They have more than a few tutorials about how to get those sleeves set in really nicely, and it's really very adjustable. So I just turned the edge of the pleats, the Watteau pleats over and basted them down, and I wanted to collapse into a heap after doing all of this. It was a really fun but time-consuming process, but I also realised I didn't have a stomacher, and if I stop now I might not start again, so I drafted everything out and cut everything out for the stomacher, which I also forgot to film because I'm a pro, kind of. So in the stomacher there's the fashion fabric, 2 layers of a medium weight cotton, and then some random stash cotton I have to line it. Everything is basically just whip stitched. It's not very exciting. I'm not sure why I've got quite so much footage of making the stomacher. I think it's to make up for the fact that I did not show you anything interesting on the sleeves. I'm just popping in the little loops on the edge of the stomacher. If you look at any extant stomachers, you can see the loops on the edge. These do make a massive difference when you're putting the stomacher on, I promise. It makes life so much easier. I have a stomacher with and a stomacher without now, so I much prefer the loops on this one. So I may add them to the other one that I've got. I'm just whipping in the lining now for the stomacher. Could get rid of a lot of this footage. And now everything's finished and I get to try it on, and you get... Oh, by the way, I made a random petticoat out of another pair of curtains. I have no footage of that either. I'm gonna pin that stomacher on. The tabs do make it really, really easy. Everything looks a bit out of whack right now because I'm pregnant, so that's why it looks a bit weird. And everything is closed with pins. I really like how adjustable the pins make it. I am pinning a bit further down than I normally would to hide the bump. And it's finished, and I'm really excited, and I love it, and it's my favourite thing.